Wow, two firsts in one day, Chef Halton. What can't you do? Hello again, everybody. It is Monday afternoon. We had the very perplexing conclusion this morning that my character count went up despite working for 3.5 hours, and I truly do not know how that happened. It didn't go up by a lot. It was about 300 characters, but the problem is that I archived all of this stuff. Where is it? Actually, I guess I don't have the start of it. This, yeah, from here down. Not all of these were originally characters in the document. Like I wrote out some X's, I added some like this. I couldn't repro this. All of this is just stuff I added for the sake of archiving this. But still, I don't know how the to-do list grew. But oh well, whatever. So let's continue. So you have a story mode save file. I decided clicking this should hide the dialogue. Let's go figure that out. Title screen. So there should be a dialogue here somewhere. Here. Yeah, and this figures out if we, can we call dismiss on this? Whoops. Dismiss? No, there's no dismiss. There's a get dialogue or dialogue. There it is, dialogue.dismiss. Yeah, so that'll work if the dialogue is there. Yeah, cool. So when you click either story mode on, press story mode button, let's hide the current dialogue that's there. And if you click challenge mode, where's that button? New challenge mode. All right, how about this? On challenge mode button. Now let's use the same pattern. On pressed. It's going to start with that. And now we're going to delete all this. Challenge. It'd be nice if I typed that correctly. There we go. All right. Cool. So that should fix that. Also, to give you an idea, so this single thing that we have here, just the task itself, if this will let me do this, just the task itself is 140 characters. If we consider all of this stuff that's written here, it's going to be 267 characters. So that should bring us down to the amount almost exactly that we were at the beginning of the day. All right, nice. This looks better now. Clicking this again causes it to get dismissed. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I wonder why that happens. Because we dismiss this and then we say show dialogue. And this calls set on the dialogue. Because dismiss has some time associated with it. I'm not super concerned about this. Like, I think this is okay. If you click this and it ends up dismissing this, you'll just click it again. Yeah, okay. I think this is fine. So dismiss existing title screen dialogues. You used to be able to hit this issue, which is enter the game with a story mode save, but no CM save. Click story mode. It'll spawn a dialogue and then click phone mode. At that point, you would have two dialogues on the screen. Now we close the existing dialogue. And I didn't test it for the other way around. So how do we do that? We need there to be an existing file here. So I save, I go to the title screen, I click this and then this. Yeah. Now you can, there's another minor issue. Where you can have save files for both modes, and clicking either button on the title screen will simply hide the dialogue without showing a new one. I guess because we're dismissing it and it's taking time, maybe we should have some like dismiss immediately thing. I don't think it matters. Yeah, if anyone ever complains about this. Hey, Alex. Is the urge to grow one rising? Or urge to buy one rising? Grow one. I don't know what I was even thinking about. Oh, urge to buy growing. That's probably what I was thinking. All right, this task is going to be a little bit tough, I think. But I think it's a nice little quality of life improvement. Minus and plus buttons for each individual meta perk. Figure out the cost that the skill should have been. Only way to make sure we're refunding the right amount across save versions is to have proper migrations. Yeah, well, we can know the cost that we just had. But I think adding these buttons and everything, I think it's going to be a little bit difficult. So we need some points in order for this to work. So I guess let's just continue the run we were working on and go finish this, go to the title screen. So yeah, now we have a bunch of points and let's put something into there. And actually let's start another one of these. That way we have something with saved points. What am I doing? There. So now every time you go into this and click upgrades, you will see that we have this at level 1. So I want to show minus and plus buttons here, and then I need to make them work. It's eating my brain. Do skeletons have a brain? How do they think? Okay, so I guess step 1 is just show the buttons without getting them to be functional. I don't think this is going to be easy to do. I'm hoping it proves to be easier than I think. Meta perk tab container, here it is. So we add a bunch of meta perks to this. What are they? And how do we do any of this? Meta perks tree. This is it? Yeah, here it is. So we call it add skill button. How does this work? Set cost icon to gem. Yeah, sure, that's fine. But how is this getting hidden? Huh. Yeah, huh. Must be this. Oh, it's because, oh my God. Oh, it's because we don't have any concept of a purchase skill button that has refunds. All right, well, that's too bad. So how about we just change them for everything at first? So this hide main button, I guess we'd get rid of this. Main button. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, well, where do we create it? Here we instantiate it. Skill button added to scene. That calls into our virtual function. Set button ability. This calls into the base. We have a bunch of stuff here. There's no try to remove point. Still need to figure that out. But I'm still not even sure where we hide these buttons. Maybe they're not even here. Maybe that's the problem. Hey, Caleb, how's it going? Adventure panel tab. We have a skill tree in here somewhere or something. Oh boy. Glad to hear it. It's going pretty well here. We are working through the to-do list. We are trying to get it to shrink down to 0. We've had moderate success so far. This morning, I got done with some pretty good things. I need to keep doing more. He's so cool, he leans. Getting to work on a new feature at work, which is fun. Oh, cool. What is it? Is this Skeleseller Unity based or something custom or Godot? It's in Godot. Welcome in, Grim. I think all my to-do lists have always gotten longer rather than shorter. Yeah, and to be fair, there are several Skeleseller lists that we have. This one is basically just for finishing up bone mode. So it's this list that I'm trying to get down to 0. And it's currently at about 15,000 characters. I wanted to figure it out by characters so that we'd have a lot of granularity here. And because you can't argue how many characters there are in a document, but you could argue how many pages there are based on your zoom level or something. So we have not gotten rid of any characters from the list today. It has only gotten bigger so far. API and CLI interface for working with work trees. Oh, I thought you'd mentioned something like this before, but maybe not. But neat. Is the company still growing? All right, so we have a skill button here. There's hide buttons, and there's a remove points button, and this is baked into skill buttons. So skill button inherits from skill button base, and that's what gives us a minus button. And then purchased skill button inherits from skill button base. Okay, that's our problem. Yeah, so skill button is what has a remove button on it. It's separate from purchased skill button. Both inherit from the same thing. We need well, actually, I guess we could just use skill button and maybe manipulate it a bit. How does it work? Try to remove point. Isn't there like a try to add point? There isn't. What happens when you click the plus button then? Oh, skill button base handles that? Try to add point, yeah. So could we do that? I feel like we could. Yeah, I wonder if I just change what kind of button this is. We're actually hiring at the minute too. Nice, 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 nice. Yeah. Part of the reason I ask is I think it's nice when you're working on stuff, there's new stuff to work on, you're excited, and also the company's growing. Because it typically means that you can kind of shut down all the anxieties that might happen if you were like, oh God, I only have bad work and we're not getting customers, we're not hiring new people. Yeah, I wonder if we just use skill button for this. I wonder what it would do. I also wonder how hard it would be to do it. I mean, we could try and just see what happens. Yeah, there's a modify currency here and a get currency. Oh, yuck. Is this where get currency comes in? Oh, God. Oh, no. Okay, well, fundamentally, this isn't too different from adding or removing a skill point. It's just that it's not one point at a time. It's based on a cost. So these buttons are maybe not as far apart as I might have thought originally. Base perks tree has a get currency though. This must not be used for the adventurer thing, huh? No, it isn't there. Yeah, it would be stressful. And I think it'd be harder to convince yourself that things are going to get better if that were to happen. All right, well, let's continue looking at how this thing works. So we have some skill buttons. I'm trying to remove. How does this work? We get the level of an ability. We modify it. And then we must change. We must change how many skill points you have. Where do we do that? Probably in modify ability level. Ah. Interesting. I think this is a bad inheritance structure. But I do think the answer is pretty much the same. We have to use that skill button. Got an ample runway for at least 3 years. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, a friend of ours, I guess more a friend of my wife's, I've met the person only a couple times, but his company just shut down. He's working at a startup and he was really upset about it all. I don't blame him. He lost his job. Everyone lost their job. And the product, I don't know if it exists or anything still. I don't know if they ever made any headway with it. But I don't think he was expecting that as an outcome. We should probably use skill button for this. All right, well, I have no changes right now, so I should just be free to make whatever I want to make, and we'll just see if it works. So we just replace this with skill button. There is no reset to 0. Yeah. Clean up. Reset to 0 may not need to exist. What else do we have here? This gets deleted. There is no set cost icon to gem. I'm just going to delete that, I guess. This isn't even a thing either. This is bad. This is bad. These are all just purchase skill buttons. We have player ability tree though. Does that use just regular skill buttons? It does. I suspect this is all gonna just, this is gonna be bad. Yeah. Yeah, I suspect this is gonna be bad. All right, so base perks tree is from player ability tree. So add skill button doesn't even exist there. How do we set up skill buttons? Is there a container? There is. This is never responsible for adding them though. Unlockable perks, base perks, all perks. Oh boy. Oh boy. If it was just suddenly announced, that would not be crushing. Finances are well communicated at work, so I don't expect anything like that to come as a big surprise. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, all right. It's like the knot doesn't make any sense there. Yes. Yeah, I think communication is good for practically any realm, anything we're ever talking about. Probably you should be communicating. And I think the only times that maybe it's sort of at odds with the benefits of the workers is when you might be losing funding and you might cause unnecessary panic or something. But I think the writing was on the wall probably for that company. Like I don't think they were hiring new people. I don't think they were getting bonuses or something like that. All right, so we need a function like add skill button. What is all perks tree even used for, I wonder? Remove click handlers. What is this? Specifically for challenge mode where you show perks you've unlocked, but don't let you make any purchases here. Yeah, I see. Okay, well, I think we copy this. What is this thing over there for? New perk ability data? The cost? Why are those there? What? Yeah, what? Oh, man. All right, that's in base perks tree. Doesn't this use purchase skill buttons, though? It does. But we don't have purchase skill buttons. All right, so it's not a base perks tree anymore. Yeah, it's just a player ability tree. All right, so we need to make our own add skill button. Sure, fine. As mentioned, I think this will be a little bit challenging. So this just called into some other add skill button, which was somehow a purchase skill button. Okay, wow. This is not good. How did we add them here? We have some way of adding skill button. The skill table has it. Okay, here we go. Does it get added to a particular thing? It gets added to a list and it is a container. Do we call it add child? Yeah, we do. Okay. So this is what manages it. So this is where our add skill button thing comes in. Oh man, I think this is going to take a while. We either need to restructure this inheritance thing that I have and then get it to work with everything, or we need to get a new thing working here. I kind of want to hack something together quickly just to kind of see how we'd get this to work. But yeah, we need something like this here. So scene functions, instantiate a skill button, add them to a container. Isn't there like a button container? Yeah. Then initialize this with an abilities component. There's just a function to get the abilities component, but skill button doesn't take that in by default. So we would need to call this. The name does not exist in the current context. We don't save it anywhere. I guess it doesn't need to, the parent does. Yeah, so it can just do this. All right, so now adding and removing points, we got to go figure out at some point. Oh boy. Great flare. Private void, tried to add point, and private Void tried to remove point. It's my favorite control node. Probably rich text label. But that's a very funny question. How would this even work? We don't even know what the skill button is. Yeah, this can't work. We need to know. We need to know this stuff. And we take in the skill button. I was going for funny. What's your favorite HTML element? Mine's the pre-tag. All right, mouse entered. Where do these things happen now? Man, none of this is going to be easy, is it? We don't have hover handling here. Do I have it in here? We do when you call set button ability. Do we even call that? No. Oh, man. Oh, man. All right. Yeah. None of this is going to be easy. So this would call into these functions, which do what? Show and update tooltip. So these already kind of exist. This is protected. We take in the button. Skill button ability ID. Then delete those things. And probably delete that. Image for sure. How else am I supposed to show off my artwork? Perk ability data. We don't have that information. We don't have any of this information. Oh, man. All right, so we still have a problem here, which is that we're not taking in this data. It has no idea how to store this stuff. Well, we're going to need something else here so that it knows what the costs are. No, I guess maybe let's just delete it for right now. It's not going to know what the maximum levels are, though, for this. Refund points. We're just going to say that we never coded this, I guess. Code this again. Do we have any other to-do items we're going to need here? Why is this yellow? Change return type from skill button base to skill button for improved performance. Sure. And then actually write these methods. Okay, let's go try it. It's impossible for this to work. That's not the point. The point is to figure out, what does this look like? Are there minus buttons? Are there plus buttons? Interesting. Very interesting. So now what happens? If we click these, it should do nothing, right? Surprisingly, it looks like it's adding points. I don't know how that's happening. That's kind of crazy, right? The function should be doing nothing here. What? Player ability tree has something? Oh, crazy. Can add skill point returns true. Interesting. And then it calls modify ability level by 1. All right, so this needs to be something that gets overridden by our class. And what is that? So if I were to make this, if I were to just make this return false, we won't ever be able to add a point to this again. Whew, man, we also got to make sure sounds are working on this. Should probably turn that on. Yeah. Can't click any of these. If I set it to true, are there sounds? I'm going to turn off the music, because that's going to drive me nuts. Bet your own sounds during gameplay. What's your favorite sound format? Okay, they're making sounds. This is honestly not so bad. The problem is that we can't show everything I want to show here. I really should have taken a picture of what this used to look like. Really should have done that beforehand. It's not too late for me to just go do it anyway, but I don't have a picture of any of this, do I? No, I don't. Ah, man. Okay, well then we're gonna need to stash this. It's just one file. I guess it's not that bad. Also, it's the same command whether we're stashing one or many files. It's just I find this tedious. That's all. Nothing more to it than that. All right, so this is what it used to look like. We'd show a level, and beneath it, we'd show the cost. Okay, I mean, that's not too bad. And then, yeah, within, this all looked kind of the same. All right, so let's take a screenshot like this. Load up the Steam playtest. Well, it's already done now, but yeah, I could have done that. All right, now we pop that and go back into it. Close out of all these instances. Whoops. MP3. Not Og Vorbis. What a disgrace. All right, and what do we have? We have levels, but we have no costs. And what even has a cost label, I wonder? It's probably purchase skill button. I wonder if I should just merge these into one thing. Yeah, we have no cost. So the cost used to show up underneath this. Let's take a picture of that. Let's put this over here. Also, interestingly enough, we don't say level here. We just show the numbers. I guess because in order to keep them all in line, yeah. That's why I couldn't fit level. Otherwise, the plus button would be like just outside of here, like in this region. That's okay though. I think that's fine. I think it's clear what it's doing. And the rest of the game has these buttons in them too. So it should be okay. We just need the cost to show beneath it. Time to go find out where that cost shows. I'm guessing it's specific to purchase skill button. It is. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? So if we wanted to do this, what we would do is we would make, where's just skill button? We'd make a new kind of button that has all these things. It probably inherits from this and also adds in a cost. And then I guess we could just get everything to work. Honestly, this wouldn't be too bad, but I don't think it's the best way to do things. But at least it'll let us move on without taking like 4 hours. Oh. Oh, indeed. So I inherit from this scene. I add in a cost underneath. Yeah, so let's go do this. Where does this exist? Show in file system. UI buttons, skill button. Okay, we got to know that because we got to click through the same thing here. Skill button. And we call this something like upgrade skill or upgrade. What do we call these? Upgrades? Upgrade button? It's not a great name for something. Meta perk button. I like that. Now we need whatever this thing did. This was a VBox container of 2 different things. We can't change the structure of that though. So I need a VBox container in the parent class, which for this wouldn't do anything with it, but for the child class would. So now this gets modified. Now we have a VBox container. Now we add whatever this thing had underneath it. It was actually a button, and the button had an icon and text. And that way you could click it to buy this. I think I want to keep that the same way. So we could just copy this over there. Why does that look ugly? Because this had controls on it, which means now this needs controls on it. And now this should look nice again. Yeah, nice. Means this can get rid of it. This has a theme override though. What is that? Separation? Oh, sure. I don't care about that. Okay, so we save this as meta perk button. We already have an add points button. So maybe we'll call this a cost button. Oh man. All right, meta perk button. So this meta perk button inherits from skill button. We're gonna need to fix all that other stuff up. But before I forget, let's go add in the right script over here. Done. And then we delete probably all of this. So this thing is gonna have an add button, private button, or a cost button equals null, override ready, base dot ready, cost button, get it. Now when you click it, do something. Maybe it emits that you click the cost button. Wouldn't it just be similar to whatever you do on the original skill button? Like on try to add point? Yeah, let's put that there. Right click pressed. I want left click pressed, which is just pressed. And try to add point is what we're going to invoke. Except for can't do that. Oh, man. How do you call this then? I guess you have to do it through the base class, or I have to expose a function that calls this. Oh, invoke click handler. We'll just make this protected. Why was that private? Does this even exist? It did exist. Huh. Any recommendations for Next Fest? You mean as a game that's entering Next Fest? Because if so, yes. And I will share them if I hear a yes from you. Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, things to play. Oh, never mind. No, I don't. I learned from the last Next Fest that I don't like playing games. Is Next Fest going on right now? October 13th to the 20th. Oh, it started today? It started like 3.5 hours ago. Ooh, one sec. Let me show this on screen. Started a few hours ago. Is it muted? Yeah, it's muted. Poetrol, thanks for the resub. Happy year and a half. I want to search by what are the like most. Oh, I don't think it shows you this yet. Also, for some reason, I can't scroll this down. I can only see price there, but if there's something beneath it, I can't tell. Oh, this is just a bug on their site? What? Yeah. Huh, weird. That's not like Valve. This has like no padding. You can't tell that the thing ends there, and you can't scroll this. You can only scroll this top part off the screen. If I shrink the page, does it look good? Wow, they just didn't intend for you to. Huh. Oh, I'm actually kind of surprised that Valve didn't get this to work well when you're zoomed in at all. You just literally can't see price at the bottom. Huh. Got my new game in the Next Fest. It's called Zombie Seller. Banning. I'm not going to read the rest of that message. You're a zombie and you die, but then you start a potion shop. First of all, it was a human who died and then became a skeleton. Second, yeah, what I was going to search for here is what's the highest downloaded whatevers. But I think in the first 2 days, they randomize how they show these things to you. But yeah. Interesting. Mess that up. Well, you could be a zombie that dies again, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, hi, I'll go deaf. Are you in this one, Claire? Or were you already in one, I guess? So invoke click handler is here. The meta perks tree doesn't use these meta perk buttons or whatever. And I guess I don't really need them to be anything other than a skill button here. But yeah, we're going to make a meta perk button. Meta perk button. It doesn't really matter what this thing is, but this definitely needs to exist. So skill button, we make a meta perk button. Woo, woo, slow it on down. Meta perk. Okay, back over to here. This looks fine. So we need to set the cost somewhere. Oh, man. And the next one, or more likely the one after that, hoping to release next year. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I'm also hoping to release next year, except for I've already been in Next Fest. It's my cool new game called Skeleseller. I don't know if you know, but you were a skeleton and you died and you became a zombie. Then you died again and became a Dracula. It's a pretty good story, actually. Okay, so we got to be able to set we got to handle refund points too. Let's just try this. Let's just see what's happening here. That's the sequel. I shared a game on Discord called Hyper Light Breaker. I think that's what it was called. This game looked like it was going to be pretty good. Do they have any gameplay shots? Yeah, stuff like this. It looked like it was going to be pretty good. It's been abandoned already, apparently. And people talked about the first version of this game. It's called Hyper Light Drifter, I think. And people said things like, oh, hey, why can't they... Wait a second. What? Did I click developer or publisher? Developer's Heart Machine. Huh, interesting. They made a lot of games. But anyway, they said, why couldn't they have been more like the first game? The first game did so well. There are other games that go from 2D to 3D. I don't know if this is one of those games. But yeah, it made me think if I'm ever going to make a sequel of Skeleseller, it's gotta demand a sequel. It can't just be something that can be done in the first game. Yeah, it was by the same team. Yeah. All right, so Signal Press is already connected. I probably messed something up in here, right? Try to invoke button, meta perk, ready. This can't be connected though. Huh, I don't know why that's happening. 2.5D for the next one. Yeah, just take it at a half dimension at a time. At 2.75D. Never actually quite hitting 3D, so people can never complain about it. But when you're at 2.999D, people will assume that it's 3D. Okay, so I'm not sure why these are happening. And I bet if I turn this off, it's still going to happen. And then I need to connect everything, which my issue is that I know how I'm going to do this, but I don't think it's going to be the best way. And I don't know if it's worth putting time into the best way. So yeah, this stopped happening, which means that this is somehow connected. I don't understand this. Main skill. Oh. It's a cost button I want to change. Yeah, that's why. Okay, that makes sense. The z coordinate is always multiplied by 0.9. So to be clear, for anyone who doesn't know this, 2.5D games do exist. 2.5D doesn't mean anything in math as far as I know, but it is 2D gameplay in a 3D world. So an example of this is Kirby, what's it called? Let's say N64 Crystal Shards. So in this game, if you press right, you'll move in this direction. You press left, you'll move in this direction. If you press up, you don't move into the background. That would be a purely 3D game. So it's a 2D gameplay realm here, but the world is 3D. Like Donkey Kong 64. Donkey Kong 64 is purely 3D. You can move in all three dimensions. Spire is technically 2.5D. Maybe, but I would call it a 2D game. So anyway, I think 2.75D would probably not ever make sense as a term for people. Term for games. Whoops. All right, so we are making some progress here. This is very low. And I guess because we already have a point in this, I want those minus and plus buttons to show up no matter what, though. I wonder why they aren't. Meta perk tree. Why isn't it showing up? Update label? I don't get it. Set button ability? What hides those things? Man, this should not be this confusing. Hide buttons. I'm not calling this though, right? Skill table sets it. Is it on by default? Oh, there it is. No, it has unlocked skill. Oh, wow. Oh, that's stupid. All right. All right. This is a mess. I wonder if we should just do things the right way. Just have one button for all of this stuff. And you can connect it to a source of a skill point. Because, yeah, I think this is going to get pretty obnoxious. Ability level out of this. Otherwise, disable the add points button. So we want to, like, skip over this thing. I mean, alternatively, what we could do is we can make this overrideable and just say they're all unlocked by default. That would also work. Yeah, that would also work. Okay. Virtual bool. Meta perk button is going to override it. Public override bool has unlocked as true. Yeah, Donkey Kong Country. Yeah. Yeah, that was 2.5D. Okay, that's looking better. So the minus buttons are disabled. The plus buttons are enabled. We can't actually do anything yet. All right, let's hook up the minus and plus buttons now. So there should be some idea of like, can you even add a point? Which we're not getting to because it's just adding a point for us for some reason. Maybe that happens from skill button base. There's like a, oh no, it's from player ability tree. There's a modify ability level here. But there's can add skill point right here. Where is that supposed to be defined? Did I define that? Can add, oh, there it is. Return true. Oh yeah, my bad. Okay. So this should be based on what the cost of the ability is. So we need to figure out the cost and then figure out if you have enough points. And where is the points? There it is. So this is how many you have. Int points equals this. Int cost equals, I don't know, 5, let's say. Is that not an int? It's a long. And just return points greater than equal to cost. And when you add a point, we're going to say, we're going to modify this. Plus equal delta. Okay. So we'll just do minus equal 5. So this will let me click a bunch of buttons like 6 times or something. I don't know how many points I have. And then it'll stop, I hope. I could only click it 4 times. What? Yeah, what? I had 25 upgrade points. Strange. I click once. This number is 25. So now it's going to be 20. Now it's going to be 15. Oh, did I put a greater than sign? No, I didn't. Points. Is it 10 already? Should be at 15. I don't know what's going on. Unless something else is modifying these points somehow. I don't know how that's even possible. Yeah, I don't know how that's possible. Yeah, nothing else is using these. Is anything else accessing them anywhere? Get perk points. Total. Challenge mode progress. This adds ones for the future, right? The cost isn't changing, right? No, it shouldn't be. I just hard coded it to 5 now to test this out. I guess I'll just print this out here. Can add skill point. There's that. And whoops. And then let's do the same thing down here. Try to add point. And then get rid of this breakpoint. Did it actually get rid of it? Yeah. Okay, so right off the bat, clear out of this. I click the button once. It says try to add point is at 25. And then can add skill point gets called afterward? What? Shouldn't we check to see if we can add a skill point before we actually add the skill point? All right, that's the confusing part. I click this, and yeah, it breaks into try to add point first. That doesn't seem right. Is it because there's no concept of can add point? Or because we need to call into something else? Where is this normally called from? Can afford. What? I don't know what I'm doing anymore. We don't. Okay, I think I understand what's going on. Shouldn't it simply determine if the button's enabled? Probably. So I should probably just back up a bit. We have two different kinds of skill buttons in the game. One is the kind that takes skill points. So it's always going to be plus or minus 1 point per level, no matter what. And then the other is a kind that takes a currency. So either gold or upgrade points. And this is going to be, well, in the past, it's been plus X per level based on the level's cost. There was no minus X because we never needed that until now. So now that we need it, I'm thinking I should probably change the structure that we have. So there's just one kind of skill point or one kind of skill button. Probably just be one kind of skill button. And it has a way to figure out whether it's enabled, what it takes when you buy, and if you can refund, how it gives that back. And I think that would simplify everything, but we have so many different ways that skill buttons render. And that's the other thing I need to think about here. So let's go start up. Let's go start up the main game. So case number 1 is this. So let's take a picture of this. This takes skill points and has plus or minus buttons, but does not have a cost, because the cost you understand inherently that it is 1 point per thing. And you'd figure this out as you click the buttons, and great. So that's one thing. Where do we find another thing? This. So here's another example. This takes money, so we show a cost beneath it. And then I guess the only other example is this. This looks very similar to this, but instead of taking money, it takes upgrade points. Yeah. So our common thread is that all skill buttons, well, wait, what are views that we have here, I guess? There are 3 views. There's level 1/7 and a diamond button. There's a gold coin. Just do that. And then there's just 1/3 and minus and plus buttons. The minus and plus don't even have to show if it's not unlocked, though. So I think each subclass can figure out how to render all this stuff. Yeah. Each subclass can figure out how to render everything. So we would have... This is going to need to be a plus and a minus here. And it's going to probably look like this. So this is meta perk. This is a regular perk. And this is an adventurer skill. So all of them have, I guess like our base class is going to have the minus button, the plus button, the level text, and then a cost. And each thing can figure out what to render and how. So you can undo the perks. You can undo types 1 and 3. So everything that's highlighted, you have a minus button and you can undo them. Let me be very clear. Currently, you can undo adventure skills. I want you to be able to undo meta perks. You can't yet. So you should be able to undo these 2 kinds, but currently you can only undo the 3rd kind. The perks unlocked in bone mode don't count for this. So not currently, but they should. I think you had suggested this, Galaxy Inferno, and I wanted this to be the case already. It was just going to be a pain to code, and it is kind of proving to be a pain to code. Also, this is a problem that we still need to figure out at some point. But yeah, it's much easier if you could be like, okay, let's add 1 point into here. Oh, we went too far. Let's just remove it. Whereas right now you have to click refund and then choose everything again. And if there were only like 2 choices, then it wouldn't be too bad to just click refund and redo it all. But yeah, with 6 choices, I think the minus buttons are important. So I think we should just go with a proper refactoring here. This structure that I mentioned here. And at the end of the day, I don't think this is going to be that hard to code. It's just there's a lot of moving parts. We have some code in one spot, some code in another spot. We need to make sure that we've got all these different designs working. So yeah. So I want to put all this in my notes over here. I think the best way to do this is to unify the skill buttons. They all... Yeah, let's paste this in before I forget. We have 3 types of buttons that we want. And they're these kinds. Meta perk takes upgrade points, can be refunded. This is takes gold, cannot be refunded. And this is takes skill points, can be refunded. I was going to write something important here. Motorboat! Happy Motorboat Day! Thank you for the gifted subs, Motorboat. I am quite grateful. And hello, new subs. I wonder how many of those people are actually here right now. Because I'm still not totally sure how it picks these people. It must be people who watch the channel. Let's see, that person's not there, that person's not there. That person's not there. I don't think any of those people are here, except for maybe the final one. I haven't looked at them yet. No, yeah, apparently none of them are here right now. kind of strange, right? I still wonder how it picks people. But maybe everyone who's here more often is already subbed or something. If they're not here, I'm undoing it. No, please don't. You don't have to get more subs. That was not why I said this. I truly am just curious what goes into the automatic picking. Like, if there isn't anyone in chat without a sub, it'll start grabbing from people who follow the stream. But like, okay, as an example, and again, this is not to prompt any other action, and it's not to make anyone feel bad, but like Codex isn't subbed. Codex, you're here a decent amount. Why didn't it pick you? I've seen some where people have never been in the stream. It's bizarre. Maybe it goes to friends of friends at that point. Yeah, actually, have any of these people even... Yeah, let me see this. This person's not... That first account isn't even following me, and they're not here right now. How is it picking these people? Yeah, it's the same thing with the third person. The second person's actually following me. Fourth person isn't following either. And the fifth person's following. So 2 of the 5 people are following. Huh. I just don't get why. Well, I guess from Amazon's perspective, they only lose money if they give a sub to someone who's there. Because that's a person who would have probably wanted a sub on their own and then would have been seeing ads, which would get them more money. So it behooves them to just give, like, you know, the same 500 inactive accounts every single sub that ever happens on Twitch. Like, let them have free viewing on every channel if they're not going to watch those channels. Taco Bandit, thank you. Now Codex won't have ads. It doesn't have to file that lawsuit. Excellent. It's very nice of you, Taco. Thank you too, Moto. Okay, I think I'm going to take a quick break before doing this. I'm in a sort of a weird headspace. I'm not like burned out, but I felt kind of sluggish doing this, and I don't know if I was expecting an easier way, but hey, if this works, it works. We'll try this in just a bit. But yeah, I'll take a quick break. Is it jump time? Is it jump time? Okay, let's just try this. Break, break, break. It's jump time. Hello again. And hey, NG. Welcome in. I hope you all had fun. All right, close the game. Hey, Syrup. All right, so we are going to try to merge these things into one button. I kind of want to mock up what this is going to look like first so that this doesn't get out of control because I already don't like what we have. I really don't like what we have. So we have skill button base, which just inherits from control. Yeah. Wait, hype chest. Let me open it. I got the confetti hype emote. Hooray. So what we have now is this as a base, and then I think two things inherit from it. Skill button, purchase skill button. Yeah, they both inherit from it. And then meta perks button, which I just tried adding, would inherit from skill button. So skill button, meta perks button, and then purchase skill button. Okay, so they're all of those. And I think what we want is for skill button base to have everything, and then we just control the like arrangement of everything. What is a skill button base? It's a control, but does it have a scene? Just skill button. Oh, because there is no concrete. Okay, yeah. So has a TSCN, has a TSCN, no TSCN file. So skill button base would have a minus button, a plus button, the level text itself, and a cost. So for this, we show the first three, but not the cost. For this, we don't show the minus and plus buttons. For this, we show everything. Okay, so we'd have like a meta perk. Is it meta perk or meta perks button? Meta perk, it looks like. Yeah. Meta perk button. I guess we have functions like what we have for purchase skill button. What does this have? Money changed? Yeah, we need a generic way of saying what that is. And a way of getting the currency. How do we do that? We don't even handle that here. And this lets you know if you can afford a different amount. So there's got to be some function, a function for when the underlying currency changes, skill points, gold, upgrade points, etc. Anything else? Update label. Hiding all the buttons and everything, sure. What do we do over here? And what do we do outside of the tree, I wonder? Click handlers, that's all fine. Yeah, honestly, this doesn't seem too bad. But there's a get currency somewhere. I don't know where that is. There's modify ability level. I guess it doesn't happen from this. It happens from some like base something tree, base perks tree. Can't afford. I wonder if we need to unify these two. Oh, that's going to be annoying. Get currency and modify currency. All right, so there's just this and it returns money. Oh, man. Yeah, I should write this down too. So what do we have here? We have perks tree, which inherits from base perks trees. Does anything else inherit from this? Player ability tree. Why? Why is this the case? Player ability tree. Does that have a TSCN file? It does. And then underneath that, we have meta perks and base perks tree. Meta perks tree and base perks tree. And then I think it goes deeper than that, but I don't remember how much deeper. Nothing below that one. And there's perks tree, which inherits from base perks tree. And then that's where it stops, right? No, then there's like every single kind of perk. Fishing perks, farming perks, etc. Probably have a lot of those. Whew. So yeah, what do we do about the trees? Because this is fine. I think this makes sense. Do we do about the trees? What is this pseudo abstract implementation? And what are we talking about here, or a specific thing? Because I'll try to answer both things really quickly. So we have a bunch of different ways of rendering skills in the game. We had a way that took upgrade points, and we want to be able to refund them, so there'd be a minus button. We have something that takes gold, but there is no way to refund them. And then we have something that takes skill points, and there's a way to refund them as well. Something that was virtual and throws an exception if not overwritten. Oh, something like this. This is because in C# you can't have an abstract partial Godot class. So if I tried making this abstract, which would be what you'd normally do in C#, then Godot will complain. So I think this builds, but then I think when we try creating it, it says you can't do that. So if I just click this. Do I have to click? Oh wait, does this inherit from a Godot thing in the first place? It does. Cost gold to unlock abilities. Huh, that's weird. There's some restriction around this. They fixed that in an update? No, but I don't have that update. I just tried this recently. Abstract. Yeah, this is still open. Oh, it's only when you inherit from an abstract one. Okay, and I'm not inheriting from this one. Yeah, I guess it's if you were to make this be abstract. Then it would break stuff. Wait, no, that doesn't make any sense. Never mind. I don't know. Anyway, there's something stopping me from doing this. And this issue is still open in the Godot code base. I can't figure out what's stopping me from doing this. And okay, yeah, this broke. It's not saying that it broke though, which is weird. It's just not showing the stuff it should be showing. Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I think it used to print an error. You may get an error about a script not loading. Yeah, I didn't in this case. Now it works somehow. I mean, this bug isn't closed. And yeah, anyway, I'm not going to look into the details. I do need to focus on this tree thing because I'm still not sure what I'm going to be doing about this. And we unfortunately have so much of this. And like, I don't know why I did this. So this is the root of everything, player ability tree. And what does this do? This has skill buttons. Player ability tree has a container for buttons. Oh yeah, we also have a skill table. As if this wasn't enough. And this is very similar, but does some slightly different things. And skill table also has a container for buttons. And this is presumably also its own scene. And the scene now looks probably almost identical to the other thing that we have. It's just a flow container that's a button container. So what does player ability tree look like? It can scroll. I guess they're slightly different. But otherwise, yeah, it has an H flow container. This is probably a flow container with horizontal set. It's set to center. And yeah, horizontal. Can you set this to center as well? You can, yeah. So they're similar in that regard. So yeah, I guess a skill table is just a set of buttons. That's it. And then how they can render is probably fine. Skill table has a container of buttons. What else do we have in these things? Oh no, that's okay, Flare. Yeah. I think it's always fine to ask questions, and sometimes I have to be like, I can't focus on this. And this is one of those cases where this is a very involved process what I'm doing. And honestly, at this point, I'd be happy to just get that done this afternoon, this stuff that I'm working on. And I don't know if it's going to be possible. All right, what else do we have here? Ability prerequisites, but we never use these, right? Yeah, we never use these. I should probably just delete those. Subtitle label, I don't think that matters. Ability ID to button, what is this for? You don't take the labels on the buttons when the ability level changes? Why do I do this? Because of this. Because we need to be able to fetch the exact button. Even this doesn't make sense. Oh man, I think we can revamp a lot of this. Oh, this is going to be a pain. It's going to be a giant pain. Yeah, so what calls any of these things? This, and we have a button at that point, so we don't need to fetch the button. All right, I'm going to write that down too. Its ability ID to button can be deleted. So what I need to do, delete this. We should always have the button we want already. What else? Consolidate all skill button stuff into skill button base. Or maybe we call it base skill button. Doesn't really matter what we call it. What else is in here? There's an abilities component. Is this needed for everything? Do all skill buttons have an abilities component? Yes. And we just set it here. Yeah, one brick at a time. Lost the urge to buy merch. But I really want a red shirt for some reason. You too can look like Super Mario Brother. They all have this. And a tree we're going to change. So I think skill tree should get deleted. Why do we have all these other trees? Base perks tree? What is this even adding? Perks tree that costs some kind of currency, but not necessarily gold. Yeah, I just feel like the some kind of currency could just be skill points. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to break everything. Modify ability level takes in a button. What I'm wondering is, can we get by with just having a skill tree? Consolidate all skill tree stuff into base skill tree. I wonder if I can also, while I'm at it, change what the cost of every ability is so the abilities know this stuff. Because right now, the way that we have to do this is I make a new ability like this, meta perk, random battle perks, and it exists here. And we have the number of perks it gives you at each level. We don't have costs here. They're instead inside the tree. The tree knows what the cost is, but the ability itself does not know what the cost is. And I wonder if that's another thing I should be revamping. I think we can get by with just one. Where should the costs for skills go? Each tree knows what the costs are. I don't know about that. I mean, I guess they like this array could exist anywhere, and where we need to pass it around doesn't really matter. But I think it makes the most sense to manifest it in the ability itself. So we have something like this, and in addition to saying num perks here, we also say list of long costs per level, and we define this to be something, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Dot dot dot. Why can't I type a dot there? Yeah, so something like this. I think it would look a little bit nicer. And then instead of this being a dictionary, it could just be a collection, a list, which pretty much is the same as a collection. Yeah. Think they should be in each ability. Hey, Shiny Pants. What do I recommend to learn? I unfortunately can almost never answer this question because whenever I've learned something, typically I've learned it long enough ago where those resources aren't really applicable anymore. But in general, for .NET, I would just say go look at like a getting started guide. I think this is my general answer for almost all this stuff. I think Microsoft is pretty good with their documentation for getting started. So I would just start here. And they typically have, yeah, something like this, tutorials. So like you could steer this a little bit more toward what you want to learn about maybe. I don't know what you know. So maybe the get started guide is exactly what you need and that this is going to be great for you. But yeah, I'd probably start with this. And then if I felt like that wasn't sufficient and I wasn't already getting a good start, I'd probably look at documentation or something. I'm not totally sure. Hey, Pharaoh, thanks for the raid. How did L stream go? Pretty much just the core C# language. I'll read that. Yeah, I'd say give this a shot. Welcome in, everyone who just raided. I am struggling a little bit. So we have all sorts of different skill trees in the game that I'm working on. And here's an example of one that takes skill points. So skill points work like how any other game works, right? It costs a point, you can level it up, but you can also remove a point at will. So this takes points and lets you remove them. Then we have a kind that takes a different currency called upgrade points and should let you remove them, but doesn't yet. And then we have a kind that takes gold and should not let you remove the points. Like these are just purchases. They're not really skills, I guess. So we need to accommodate all three of these. And I think it's time to refactor this stuff so that it's more sensible. We have an inheritance hierarchy that just doesn't really make sense. It's like we have skill button base and then a skill button inherits from that. And then there's a purchase skill button variant. And then we have different kinds of skill trees. And again, this stuff just doesn't really make sense. Started fizzling out a bit after figuring out OpenGL viewport math. Did make some progress. Well, that's good. And yeah, the to-do list grew, but this is all one item. Unfortunately, the item started as just a single sentence. So by the time all of this is done, despite me ballooning this thing out, we'll remove another 200 characters from the list. And I'd like to get this done today, but honestly, I think it's going to be quite the stretch. I just can't imagine this is all going to go super smoothly the first try. Bigger project, more refactoring. Again, typical. Close enough to Christmas to cook up some mulled wine. Oh man, it's almost eggnog season. You just reminded me. What a nice thing to remember. Yeah. I love eggnog. Unfortunately, eggnog hates me. And there's always the difficult thing of if my body hates something, but I want it, what do I do? Is it eggnog season already? Almost. I just bought a carton last week. Nice. How big is the to-do list? It's grown a little bit. Man. You suffer and joy. Well, there's no suffering in the first like minute of having it. Some number of minutes after that the suffering begins. right, so what haven't I figured out yet? Like we could just try designing by coding at this point, and I could try consolidating a bunch of things. Take a lactate. I need like 7 lactates. Oh man. All right, so I want skill button base to have everything, and I want there to be one scene that this corresponds to. Untangling all this is going to be a mess. And the other problem, whatever. I'm going to stop talking about the problems and let's just start solving them. Okay, let's go into this. So we have skill button here. I think I might make a new class, whatever this thing is. This will become like the skill button base. And maybe we'll even call it something new. It'll represent a major refactoring. And then we might have scripts that these inherit from. Yeah, so I'm going to call this base skill button. And we're going to call this base skill button. And we're going to give it the base skill button thing, which is unfortunately called skill button base. Should probably rename that afterward. I'll write that in the cleanup thing. Clean up, rename, what is it? Skill button base.cs to base skill button.cs. Yeah, then remove these links because they're not really links. And then make them like that. Oh, great. Base skill button, base factory. Simon says make. Sometimes I wonder about the things I type. Seasonal things we get super excited about. They're logically sound, but written out of something like the above, which is the worst sentencing you could imagine. I think that's fine. How you typed it. Traditionally made with milk, cream, sugar, egg yolk, and whipped egg white. Sounds intense. There's vegan eggnog. I think I've had it. Yeah, and I got it because I thought maybe this would be better for my stomach. It does taste a little bit different, but I think that whenever you say there's vegan anything, there's always an asterisk and it'll taste a little bit different. Like vegan cheese doesn't melt the same way. Vegan meat is actually pretty close. You had base perk button, but you said base skill button in the top. Oh yeah, thanks. I appreciate that premix. Let me give you a point. Did it taste good? I don't fully remember. Yeah, I don't fully remember. Then there are also a bunch of categories of food items or drinks where it's the same basic ingredients, but across different brands, it tastes like wildly different. Like peanut butter cups. Peanut butter cups are mostly just like chocolate and peanut butter and, you know, probably a whole bunch of like oil and sugar and whatever else. But the general ingredients are kind of the same. And yet, I don't know if I've had 2 peanut butter cups that taste the same. Okay, so this has everything on it. And now we want this script to reflect that. Okay, let's think about this. Meta perks button. I want to arrange all these things next to each other. Skill button base. All right, so we're going to get the cost button from here. This should probably be protected. Do we have any buttons in here? Main skill button, add button. So we got to get the remove button in here too. And where's that come from? That comes from skill button. This is why this is super confusing. Good God. Oh man, okay. So let's make a remove points button. And then let's make the cost button, which is technically an add, but you could right click it. Oh no, I appreciate that premix. It was not on purpose. Yeah. New law where you're not allowed to call your vegan product vegan meat. Like vegan burger patties are not allowed to be named burger patties? What? I wonder what the reason for this is. I wonder if it's just like a, like I'm guessing it's a confusion problem to some extent, but I wonder on which side, like that meat eaters will buy vegan stuff without realizing it, or the vegan people might not realize that there's meat in something? Hmm. I don't, I don't on the surface have a problem with it. It's not going to affect me anyway because I don't live in Europe. Meat people are buying vegan products that are realizing it. Man, I don't think that's, well, I guess it's kind of a little bit of a bad thing. It's kind of a bad thing when you buy anything and it's not what you realize it is. But if they're not unhappy, I guess they were unhappy enough to change the legislature. To call it soy drink. Wow. Soy drink. I will take 1 glass of soy drink and 1 glass of purple drink, please. Ah, yes, that will be $7.95. All right, so the cost button is there. We need to fetch it, and we need to make sure we get the remove button here too. And this is what ready used to do. And there's a main skill button. What in the world is that? The label? Okay, sure. That's fine. And right click should try to remove a point. And try to remove point just might not be something that this acts on. I don't even know if it should be via a signal. Who decides whether you can remove a point? Yeah, I guess it'd be the tree, not the button. Hey, Jalu. Peanut butter is not allowed here. Really? Oh, man. Huh. What do they call peanut butter then? I mean, presumably it's different in German anyway. But is it like peanut spread? Okay, separating cleaning products, I could definitely see the reason for that. There are these products in the US, like cleaning supplies that look like juice. This is crazy to me. I should probably look some up off screen. Give me 1 sec. Yeah, this stuff. Okay, if you saw this in a grocery store, what would you think this is? You'd think it's like a Gatorade type of thing, right? A sports drink. This is a cleaning supply. It looks practically identical to something you would drink. Forbidden juice. Yeah, it smells delicious. Soap. And the thing too is, I guess cleaning supplies try to smell like citrus fruits a lot of the time, right? So if you smell something and you think, oh, that's lemon, I eat lemons, I will drink this. Like, yeah. Yeah, so I could see that. That's definitely a problem. And I mean, there was the whole Tide Pod incident. I don't think that had to do with confusion of labels. I think that had to do with people being morons. All right, let's get back to this for a sec. So the remove points button I need from here. And that's capitalized like that. And then the cost button we get from here. And the cost button and the remove button both need handlers. There's mouse exited and mouse entered. And this is for skill button base, seriously. I want all of this stuff to be in ready. Pressed. Yeah. Try to move point doesn't exist over here. We got to go add that. Isn't this fun? This is just a real hoot. Refactoring code. I think it was a cleaning thing. In my country, that's normal color to make them stand out. Have you seen like Powerade or Gatorade? I feel like they look practically the same. I know the bottles are a bit different, but these are like bright colors. Same thing with Gatorade. They look pretty similar, I guess. Hey, Dead Robot Dad. Or paste. Butter just for dairy products. Wow. Huh. Well, hopefully things get clearer with all this. The legislation, I mean. Although also my refactoring. Okay, so invoke click handler. Why did we do things this way? Because there's a minus equal here. Remove click handlers. We only removed 2 of them. Do I remove any other ones here? Oh man. Yeah, I don't know what the point of that was. There's got to be a reason for this. Because what is this? As you progress through bone mode, you unlock perks that will show up in runs. This tree renders those perks. You can't modify their level or even see the levels associated with a run. Okay, there was a fourth kind of perk I forgot about, or a fourth kind of tree. Oh, that's a shame. Okay, so we need to remove all of these things, don't we? Main and add. And then add would be hidden. And I guess the cost button too. Maybe we only need to remove those. So this isn't for the sake of disposing. This is, okay, I should write that down. This isn't for this of disposing the button. So we don't need to remove all listeners. Just the ones that would let you add a point. So we should probably rename this to remove, like, add point handlers. I saw it in my country. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, gotcha. Just happens to be where you live. You don't have that confusion. So then I wonder if a lot of those cleaning products came from a country where there isn't that confusion. It's sort of funny because I think about this when it comes to things like cat food. Cat food is made for cats, but advertised to humans. And as such, it kind of sometimes tries to make it appealing for humans. But like your cat doesn't care, and your cat's never going to understand the advertising or anything. So it's sort of like with cleaning products. It's like, well, we have to make these things look appealing. And how do we appeal to you? Well, sense of taste or smell or something like that. Okay, so I think we have all of these now. We have an icon for the button itself. Yeah, I'll put this here. Invoke click handler. This should be like invoke tried to. It's protected. This probably shouldn't be protected anymore. To do, see if this still needs to be protected. Hey, protecting. Why are so many colorful bottles in the thumbnail? Talking about cleaning products and EU laws. Make sure to do items are gone. Try our cat food yourself. You'll go gaga. You'll be meowing in minutes. You'll be on all fours puking your brains out. All right, so this button should probably cease to exist. Or we can just delete the whole thing. Probably doesn't have a reason to exist. Skill button should be the same way. This just shouldn't exist. Everything that we tried using should now be on this class. Including hide buttons. Has unlocked skill is here. I wonder why that's there. Okay, that looks decent. So why is this here? Hide buttons is whether or not you've unlocked the skill. We need an abilities component to be associated with the button itself. Couldn't we pass in a function that tells you whether you've unlocked the skill? And then the tree can pass in if you've done this or not? This needs to be done at the time. Let me think. Should you construct a button with that? Right now you construct a button with an abilities component. It's probably okay to just continue to do that for now. So yeah, let's copy this over. No, derailing chat is totally fine. I don't mind. And I'm still making progress somehow, which is nice. Okay, I think we've covered all of this. I have not covered this yet. So this goes in the update label. Chat had Rails at some point. Okay, I think that's good. And then what's this? Don't allow using the icon to add or remove points if normal buttons aren't showing. This is overridden though. We have this here. So I guess do this. And then what else do we have? We call the base just to do this again? Oh God. All right, so what is it saying? If you press the right button and remove is not disabled, then try to remove a point. Yeah, so this is still needed. And let's simplify this. So bool, how do I do this? Is mouse button press equals these two things are true. And then we delete that and check this. All right, fine. We got to change this. I'll just put it inside an if statement like this. Okay. So there's that one. And then we want this in there too. And we just delete that. Okay, I think we're good. Name remove points button doesn't exist. And it's not disabled, and I guess that it's visible. So we can delete that. Okay, not too bad. Okay, so I think we have completely gutted the need now for skill button. What is this? Public should come before protected? Sure. So I think we can delete this entire class. And then doesn't something else inherit from this? So skill button is gone. Meta perk button probably was never needed. Oh, purchase skill button. Oh God. Okay, purchase skill button. Why is at least half your chat near or in Germany? Have I shown you the stats on this before? Let me show you the stats on this. Where are the stats? Give me a sec. Okay, here we go. That's why. Because German people love me. This is for the last month of data. Yeah, US is at 29%, then Germany, then the UK. These three countries have pretty much always been at the top. And then, yeah, the rest kind of fluctuate. But yeah, Canada. Adam is an icon in Germany. Oh, I just closed the tab, I think. Otherwise, I could have clicked show more and told you. Yeah, sorry, I don't. Let me go see if I can find that again. Okay, here it is. All right, here's the show more data. Thank you, Zu. Yeah, so I don't remember where the break was. I think it stopped at like Russia. So these are all the ones that were below the fold. Portugal, Spain, Finland, Denmark, India. I'm not totally sure. Like, why doesn't this data add up to a larger number? Because it can't be that there's just a whole bunch of places that have 1%. It's got to be just that they aren't getting location data or something. Because what does this add up to? 37, 44, 49, 53, 59, 62, 67. Yeah, this is like 72% or something. I just kind of eyeballed it toward the end. But yeah, where's the other, let's say 25% in Be Generous. Probably, I can't imagine Twitch doesn't have the location data for that stuff though. Where might I find that for myself? Let me reopen the tab again. On this page. All right, so next up is purchase skill button. This isn't a very large class. But yeah, how the level shows up is different. changing the icon of the cost button is different. Actually, on the add points button. What is that? Oh, great. That's nice. Well, it's going to be changed to the cost button, I guess. All right, let's start folding some of these in there. And then we're going to split these out again afterward. It's going to be a grand old time. If it's less than 1%. Yeah, what I'm saying is we didn't have about 25% accounted for. So if it's less than 1%, then that means that like another 50 plus countries are watching me. And I just don't believe that. So I don't know where else. I don't know where that data, the missing data is. Jello, thanks for subbing. Also, have I asked you about your name pronunciation? Do you pronounce the J like how I pronounce the J? Because the answer is almost certainly not. Yeah, is it Yalu? I would imagine based on this conversation, it's Yalu. All right, so I want this up here. Shalu? Is that true? Because if so, I can't pronounce that. I don't know what that means. I will probably have to simplify this. What is the closest thing my poor American brain could comprehend to this? Am I pronouncing your name correctly? I've been saying Fioromon. Just the way you said it first? Oh, Jalu? Okay. Jalu. Like an American. Okay. All right, well then I'm not going to write your explanation afterward. J is in jungle, yeah. I'll just write it like that. Are they real and all that? Yeah, but I thought they fixed all those problems. There are no bots on Twitch. It's impossible. All right, update icon saturation. What is this? This is when we call update label. So update label is going to get even crazier here. Don't impose on anyone with the pronunciation. But how would you want it to be pronounced? Because I don't know if you've seen this note, but I've written down like 400 names already. I might as well add one more. That's an awesome list. Look at that. You want to see a really awesome... Oh, I don't have it, do I? Hang on, do I have it? The Goldblum list? This is everyone who's ever said I look like someone, and it's typically Jeff Goldblum, but this time it was the bee from the Bee Movie. Am I on that list? I don't think so. If I said Kizu correctly and you didn't correct me, then I'm probably just going to say it like that forever now. Never ask me how to pronounce my name. Didn't need to. I know it's Carlos. All right, so this is where this would go in for the purchase skill button. So we don't need this anymore. The text is going to change. Is at max level is also going to cause it to change. It'll just hide this. And then update icon saturation would be for whether it gets darkened. But shouldn't that happen for all of these? Why didn't I do that? In fact, why is this only here? That's curious. Huh. All right, well, if I am saying it correctly, then I will write it down. Kizu. Hey, Pretzel. All right, at some point I need to start gutting all the other skill buttons that I had. So let's delete this file and see what happens. It's going to go cause a bunch of things to break. I'm going to try to run this. How's your day? It's going well. I'm not making as much progress as I wanted, but I think people will be happy with the changes I made, although I'm not publishing them yet. And now we're working on a refactoring thing that's going to take me forever. And that's rather unfortunate. So all of this stuff is going to change to skill button base. Yeah. And there are just a bunch of these things. And it's going to now poison the rest of everything that I've done. In fact, we should probably just call them skill button. Would have been easier. All right, now this needs to be base skill button, which doesn't exist. And I hope that's what I called it. Base skill button, yeah. All right, what else? What else? What else? What else? This and this. Okay, all those are done. I guess delete meta perks button. We're probably going to just create this again, though. I guess let's just put it like that for now. And then this would inherit from, yeah, it already does. All right, let's try running again. It's probably going to keep failing. I don't mind fixing these errors like this. Where was abroad for you, Leap Year Girl? And why is Pharaoh not answering my question? I just want to around it. Well, fine, I'll keep saying it the way I'm saying it then. I'll find out years from now I was wrong. There are some people who have names with sounds that are very, very hard for an American who speaks English to pronounce. And those I kind of just stopped trying to make an effort on because there's only so much I can do. Like, I was learning Arabic back in college and I never rolled my R's before. To roll an R is challenging to do as, I mean, you're an adult in college. So yeah, as an adult. And now I'm self-conscious about it, but I can at least do it. There are other sounds like that you can tell someone how to position their tongue or their lips or their teeth or something like that, and you just still can't figure it out. And put it on TV so I can make the sound louder. Oh, I can type it. What was abroad in your case? Hey, Becca. Working on a project I haven't worked on for like a month and a half. Had 2 versions of the same project, old and new. I knew I had more done in the project than what I saw, so I was confused. Worked on it for 3 hours thinking it was the correct version. Turns out it was the old one. Oh no. Oh man. Unless it was about the pronunciation, in which case, speak as you wish. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm going to write that down then, but I was curious what your own pronunciation was. Whatever. Make all the sounds from the phonetic alphabet? That's probably really challenging. There are a lot of like clicks and stuff too, right? And I imagine if you haven't heard it, it's probably practically impossible to reproduce just based on what you read. Lived in Canada, 3 months in Pennsylvania, a year in South Africa. Well, it's cool, yeah. I'm not even gonna try, Flair. Not even gonna try. All right, where are the remaining ones of these? Because these all look like they've been fixed. That one hasn't been. Skill button base. And that's what that returns. I'm glad I was using this base class in at least some of these places. Again, I'm kind of resigned myself to we're just going to make as much progress as we can in the next 45 minutes, but it probably won't be enough. So I'm just plodding along. There was a warning there, and then there was a whole bunch of red text, and then there was a stack trace. Ooh-wee. All right, what's going on? Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Skill button base ready. It can't find something. Skill button base on line 83. Remove points button can be found. Is it not called the remove points button, or does it not exist? It's called remove points button. What is going on? Skill button base, remove points button. What am I missing here? Does this inherit from something? No. What? In ready? Did I not save this? No, I saved this. Huh. Something's amiss. Let's search for this. Yeah, it's called remove points button. And unique name and owner. Huh, weird. Well, it is coming from something else. Purchase skill button. Yes, it is coming from something else. Aha. Yeah, so this is the problem. I have not I have not changed this stuff yet. So I guess we need to remove these two at some point. I don't want to do that. Oh, I don't want to do that at all. Ooh, what do I do then? I guess we gut this class and make it actually extend from the parent. So is there a ready function in here? It's the wrong scene. That's the problem. This should not exist. At least not like that. It shouldn't. It should inherit from the parent. Purchase skill button. So I got to go delete this. Okay, let's copy that. Let's delete you. Then let's go recreate you. Skill button base. Rename. And give you the script again. Okay, not bad. Try that out. Hey, the dad walking. Did you do a live vlog years ago about learning Kubernetes? I think I did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. Let me take a look. I'm pretty sure I did somewhere. And I don't know if it would have been on this channel. If it wasn't there, it would have been on the Autonomous channel. And if it wasn't there, then it might have been... Huh. I'm pretty sure I did. It might have just been some like random stream. But hello again. Oh, here. I could tell you. Yeah. You have some messages from almost exactly 5 years ago. So yeah, it must have been October of 2020. Welcome back. Been a long time. Half a decade. That challenge is there to have a full sample set of your voice to synthesize arbitrary words. I did not know that. You have messages? Just two. If you want, I can show you them again. But you asked about notes and... Yeah, I'll leave it there. Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome. Okay, sure. Oh, I almost timed you out. All right, here are your messages. Oh, man. This is 100% it. Well, welcome back. Yeah, I've been working on, well, I guess a bunch of things have been happening. One, there's an explanation of where I went. Oh, wow. Pretty much like right after you were watching the stream, just a few weeks later, I guess I started the job. And then I worked there for 3 years, and then I've been streaming again now for the last couple of years. All right, so cannot open file skill button. Why is it trying to open skill button? What is even attempting to do this? I guess we could just search for it. Oh, skill button.tscn is doing it, but why does that exist somewhere? Because something's trying to instantiate it. So we need to go figure out why. Although I don't see it here. Skill button.cs. Strange. This scene has to be somewhere. I just... Oh, no, here it is. Well, that's bizarre. Base skill button instantiates another scene called skill button. Seriously. Oh, this never gets easier, does it? I want to turn off the inheritance here. Can I do that? Clear inheritance. No undo. Clear. Why is it yellow still? No, it's white. Okay, so now skill button has no reason to exist. This is a mess. A gigantic, gigantic mess. Is that a stock option thing or just an accident? It wasn't on accident. I don't think it was to do with stocks. But I don't really want to go into the reason. So yeah, sorry about that. I still haven't mastered Kubernetes, but I've learned a ton about other things. It's still on the list though. It's a long list. Yeah, I think Kubernetes for personal use does not have a whole lot of use for people. That's at least my own take. Then again, I don't think a lot of people need to do things with like orchestration to begin with. And that probably there's some like simple stuff you could do if you wanted to orchestrate things. All right, so we've we've completely broken this. Isn't that fun? And it's still trying to access skill button. I don't think that should be happening. Didn't I delete this? I technically didn't delete it, but I don't know what would be trying to use it. Oh, it's still using this. I cleared inheritance though. That's got to be a bug in Godot. Yeah, because this isn't being used anymore, right? What? Do you need to save this? After hitting clear? You do. Oh. Wow, it doesn't put an asterisk on the editor to let you know you have to do that. So I thought it did it for me. Oh, well, that explains that. Yeah, the dates were very close. Like 3 years in a day, I think. How easy was it to get C# working in Godot? A few years ago, I was interested, but I'm not a huge Python fan. So just to be clear, the base language in Godot is GDScript, which while it looks like Python, they're trying to get away from that association so that, well, actually, I'm not really totally sure why. I think Python has a pretty good reputation. But how hard was it? It wasn't too bad. I've got a bunch of notes online, and I can share the C# one with you, which will probably help you get started if you want to. Yeah, just take a look at the setting up section. In fact, I'll just link directly to that. I mean, yeah, you can just download it and run it, but setting up VS Code is not as easy. And then some of the instructions here. Yeah, anyway. There are a lot of other notes there too if you want to check them out. Okay, so now what have we got going on? So purchase skill button, update icon saturation. It says it doesn't exist. Purchased skill button. Update icon saturation does. This part does too. So what's the problem here? That a label hasn't been defined probably? Icon material? Is there a ready function in here and it's just not calling the parent? No. Something's wrong here. Skill button base has a init. Does this have an init? No. Okay, well, we're gonna figure this out. Object not set. Where does the icon come from? Skill button base. And it's set here, yeah. And it's called icon, is it not? It is. That's strange. Does it have a shader on it? It doesn't. Okay, that's the problem. So it's a shader material that doesn't exist. And purchase skill button would have it. I think I just want to set this on all of these, but I'm not totally sure what material this was ever supposed to be. I guess we could look at purchase skill button for that. Should be simple. Should have been simple. Does it add this itself? Set shader parameter. There is no shader on this. Did I change this? I did. Yeah, there it is. X2EFJYP. Where is that? Right there. Saturation.gd shader. Easy peasy. Okay, let's go do that. So we set this on base skill button. New shader. Saturation shader. And then try running this. Hey, Quimbley. Hey, Flores. Skimming through chat. Okay. Okay. We're getting somewhere, I think. Man, this is a problem. Unlocked perks are showing all this stuff. What are these? Unlocked perks tree. They're purchase skill buttons, and I broke purchase skill buttons probably. Right, so this is what I was talking about. We need to make this actually reflect the new inheritance hierarchy. And I don't know where any of that happened. Wait a second though. What we care about in that tree is not that they're purchase skill buttons. They would be, what do they need to look like? They need to just be icons. And there won't even be a level. This is like unlocked perk button. Okay, I want to try this out. This will be proof whether or not what I did was even worthwhile. So how do we do this? We go make a new scene, inherit from base skill button, call this unlocked perk button, and then give it a special script. I guess we can say this too. Unlocked perk button. And the special script is going to be something like this. I guess we can just take it from meta perk button because it's smaller. Unlocked perk button. And what we're going to say for this is a skill button with no cost. A skill button representing... Hang on a second. I already wrote this out somewhere. Yeah, here. Is the only thing special is how we made buttons in this? Probably. All right, I'm going to do this. So as you progress through bone mode, you unlock perks that will show up in runs. You can't modify their level. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so now we got to call this the right thing. Unlock perk button. And then we need to put it inside of here. Unlock perk button. Done. Now for this one in particular, we pretty much want to hide the entire VBox container underneath it. Yeah, there, done. That might be good enough. And then when we use this tree, because now we need nothing special on this, I think. When we use this tree, we need to make the right thing. This is going to be a base skill button base. Base comes first here. Okay. So hide main button, that's not a thing anymore. Where was that? Main skill button dot hide. We don't do this anywhere else? No. I guess it doesn't matter. We're making some good progress now, I feel. Then set button ability, that's probably fine. Subtitle text, that's all probably fine too. And sounds and stuff. Okay, let's go try that. Used to enjoy it though. Most of my career has been in TypeScript. Used to love it, now not so much. I like TypeScript compared to JavaScript, but I don't like TypeScript compared to other languages that didn't need to build on top of an existing language. Because tooling just does not feel ergonomic for TypeScript. Oops, I meant to click this button. There. Okay, so these are unsaturated. That is a problem, and these aren't even hidden. That's also a problem. I'm not actually sure why that's happening. Cannot open file skill button. Why is that happening? This is trying to use the wrong thing. It inherits from base skill button, and it's complaining about... It's so strange. Did I type the wrong thing? No, I didn't type the wrong thing. It's got the wrong script for some reason. I'm not even sure how that's doable though. Skill button uses this and nothing else does. Is there a scene that's being inherited from? No, no, and yes to this. Meta perk button. Okay, well that's the problem. Oh, meta perk button shouldn't exist. Or it should inherit from a different thing. Can we just change what it inherits from? Can I just type base here? I'll just do it the right way. There are a million ways to configure the same thing. Yeah. Take care, Flair. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for chatting. Yeah, I don't ever want to use JavaScript again, except for, I think if I was writing like a really basic script, like every once in a while, I have a file in here that I'm just doing some like simple calculations. And I don't mind using JavaScript for this stuff. This is what, 7 lines of code and a couple of braces. So yeah, it's not bad. It's just for calculating. But you could use any language for that and it'd be just as easy. So yeah, if a script is less than 10 lines, I guess I don't really care about the language too much. Funky Monkey, thanks for the resub. How's it going? Have you gained another like 10 useful, applicable skills since the last time we've chatted? Are you now at the like a head of a construction company? Because that's what I expect the answer to be. All right, so let's go get meta perk button. So this I'm going to delete so that we can just recreate it again exactly as is. It's kind of weird because, well, I guess we could just clear inheritance and then re-inherit. I don't think it's even possible. Is it? Can you make this inherit from something? Nope, you can't. Okay, then let's just delete it. Delete. And then don't save. And then make a new thing. Oh, Dad Walking, thank you too for subbing. And it's never too late to learn how to take notes. Honestly, I want to do a course on this at some point, but I would say the very basics for note taking are headers and lists. So if you're in a document, I mean, you can pretty much see that's exactly what we've got here. We've got a header, and then we have a list. And then, well, if I keep scrolling, you'll eventually see more. Obviously, you don't need me to explain this too much. It's just headers and lists. And then you just organize things in a way that makes sense. If no pattern has emerged yet, then throw it all in one list. And yeah, like write notes about what you think is most important. And just think of who your audience is. It's probably you. You know yourself. You know what you read. You know if you like reading a lot of text or a little bit of text or having links to things. But this is at least the way of getting started. And then I would say, and I've mentioned this before, the most important like tech-related note you can usually have is a troubleshooting note. So things like, this broke before. Here's what happened and how I fixed it. This could be applicable to a programming language. It could be applicable to hardware that you have. It could be applicable to whatever. We have light switches in our place that when the power goes out, it's super confusing to figure out how to reset them. So I wrote a note about it. And now I've done it enough where I know how to do it. But you have to like pull this switch out and then like make a screenshot gesture on the other two buttons on the light switch. It's super confusing. So yeah, troubleshooting you'll be really happy you did because typically you're frustrated when you encounter a problem, and if you've encountered it before, then you can just kind of barrel through it. Thinking Kotlin, do you have any advice? Not really. I think Kotlin's pretty nice. I used it for work, but I never really tried learning it. I just kind of let the editor guide me through it. And with AI now, you could definitely work that way. But I think Kotlin's a pretty nice language. Been on a bit of a DIY break, doing some freelance stuff to help fund the renovation. Doing good though. Been lurking in and out the past few weeks. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I've been watching a show called Ludwig with my wife, and it's a murder mystery show. I'd say it's pretty cozy. It's not like gruesome murders or anything. And it's set, I think, in Great Britain. I think it's in Cambridge, actually. I don't know where it's filmed, but anyway, it's set somewhere around Cambridge. And actually, something happened yesterday in the show I was kind of confused about. So they say gov a lot, and then they say sir. And in terms of formality, I consider gov from my own perspective to be informal, and this to be more formal. That is how it works, right? Because at one point, they address someone as gov that I'm like, wait, they're your superior. The BBC show? I don't know. We're watching it through Amazon Prime, I want to say. No, I don't even know if that's true. Yeah, I don't know where we're watching it through. Because it's all on Apple TV somehow. And we've only watched like 5 episodes, I think. Hey, Code Wizard. So I really like Obsidian. I tried Joplin briefly, and I didn't really like it. And I use the mobile app for Obsidian on Android, and I at least like it there. I think it's pretty customizable too, so it might have gotten better, Jalu, since you last tried it. But Dad Walking, I'd just say try them both and see how you feel. But yeah, as far as easier to sync notes, Obsidian is very easy if you pay, and I would say somewhat annoying if you don't pay. But on Android, there's an app, and it's called SyncThing 4. The original sync thing was abandoned or something. And yeah. Can you explain how to get your brain to accept taking notes as normal? I mean, you do it even for talking with Kit, but we're not all like that. It's just what works for me. I think I have seen what happens when I'm not organized and I just forget things. And I really think a lot of what you do in your life comes down to your values. So I value being consistent and dependable. And the only way I could be consistent and dependable is if I'm taking notes on stuff. So if someone tells me like, hey, could you remind me of this in the future? Like we should set up plans or something, I'll make a calendar reminder. And if I didn't do that, it would immediately be ejected from my head and I would not follow up. And I'd have some vague sense of unease until finally the person confronts me and they're like, hey, you were supposed to set the thing up. And I'd feel guilty and bad. So anyway, I value a certain thing. So I then act a certain way as a result. And the notes are my neurotic way of handling that. Nice keyword. Thank you. Yeah, it's a corn. You can sync via iCloud. Yeah, if that works for you, then yeah, I definitely say go for that. All right, so meta perk button should be fixed now. Although there should be no code in here. I'm gonna try running this. All right, well, it's still broken. Oh, we'll get there. We will get there. Meta perk button can't be found now. Oh, did I never make it again? If so, that's kind of sad. Yeah, I never made it. Is it on my clipboard too? Yeah, it is. Okay, well, then I know what I intended to do and never got around to doing. So we take this, we rename it, we save it like that, and then we should be able to run this. Good thing you're talking about Adam Oppressal, not John. Otherwise I'd be offended. All right, so now unable to cast skill button base to meta perk button. Where is that happening? It should be the other way around, I think. Meta perks tree 99. Huh. Strange. It inherits from skill button base. Very strange. Did I give it the wrong script? Yes, I did. Okay, well, easy to fix. Sorry to distract. No, no, it's totally fine. I wouldn't be streaming if people couldn't distract me here and there. And I don't mind putting my foot down if I'm like, this is focus time or something for me. As I mentioned, all of whatever I'm doing right now is kind of just gravy. I've already resigned myself to the fact that this will take longer than this stream. So I'm just trying to make some progress on this. All right, so saturation's messed up. The costs are showing in gold. That's okay, I guess. The plus button making this get bumped downward, I don't like. This stuff should all be hidden, and I'm not sure why it isn't. Did I not save that? I hid all this stuff over here. Is it not an unlocked perk button? Maybe it isn't. Where is that? Unlockable perks tree. Base skill button. Yeah, that's wrong. This is supposed to be unlock something? Unlock perk button. And then we just plug that in over here. Neat. Let's try that. I troll Adam so much with super unimportant stuff. Yeah, it's fine. I don't mind, good-natured trolling. I very strongly dislike the, typical, hey, I'm new to the internet, I'm 13 years old kind of trolling. But hey, I clamp down on those people pretty hard. Okay, that's a huge problem. You shouldn't be able to click this. It's because we don't disable the icon as a means of clicking, but that should be simple to fix. Challenge accepted. I don't think you should test that. Okay, so this is when you click the icon, and right here, we check to see if the add point button is visible. So how is it that this worked? Yeah, what's going on here? This isn't visible. Visible. Oh my God, this is so weird. Okay, so let's say in Godot, you have a scene tree, and you have some control here, and then a control here, and a control here. This one can be set to visible, and this can be invisible. If the root is invisible, you won't see anything else. But when you query .visible, you're just checking to see if this single node is visible. So what I really wanted was visible in tree or something like that. And that would have checked what I'm trying to do here. Visible in, I think it's tree. Yeah, that's tree logos. I just need to see the syntax highlighting on this. VS Code breaks every once in a while, and it just did right there. Or the language server did. It's not visible in tree. What's it really called? Is visible in tree, and it's a function. Is visible in tree. Okay, so now you should not be able to add or remove points, I hope. There's going to be a lot of testing I need to do with this. Good. Yeah, good. This is done. Okay, so make sure you can't left click or right click anything when you don't expect. This is unlocked perks in bone mode. It's going to be meta perks or like upgrades. Then adventurer skills. The all tab in bone mode. Perks in story mode. I think it's those 5. Okay, cool. So this is done. This should not look unsaturated. And I don't know what the saturation shader does by default. Its lightness is set to 0.4. What? What indeed? I don't get what the default is. Is it 0? It just has a hint range. It must be 0. Maybe I should just set this to 1. Although I don't think it's going to change anything now. I'm not certain about that. No, yeah, that doesn't work because it's already set through the editor, right? So I have to go to base skill button and change the saturation to 1. Now there's the brown color I was looking for. Okay, so now they're the right color. This scene is totally fine. This one is using the wrong icon and always needs to show the plus and minus buttons. So what do we call that? Meta perk button, I guess? Yeah. All right, now how do we get this to work? Skill button base. There's some update label somewhere that's messing everything up. Yeah, this, it checks to see if you've unlocked the skill. All right, I don't want that. I want something different. Has unlocked. That should just be on adventurer stuff. So we got to make a new kind of skill button, I guess. Make a new skill button for adventurers. In its update label, it should call this. That's gone now. Modulate is set to, oop, I shouldn't be there. To call both of those things. Well, I'll just copy this line too. And this, okay. Set the text, that's probably gonna be different at some point. No, we can't know to enable the add points button here because we need to know the number of available skill points for that. This is stupid. This is stupid. To do, see if we can refactor this. All right, how are we looking now? We have, I think, 5 different cases we need to fix, and I've only been working on the buttons. We eventually need to work on the trees themselves. Okay, so this is better, but the buttons won't be functional. Okay, they're functional because I faked it. But yeah, this isn't gonna work. Yeah, okay, well, let's try that again then. No, that button just doesn't do anything. Why not? Clicking the cost button doesn't work? Cost button. Oh yeah, there's no dot pressed. Well, well, well. We want it to be here. Cost button dot pressed, invoke click handler. Yep, cool. And then change remove click handlers here. Cost button dot pressed. Good. Can't add them at all. This is only used from what? All perks tree and unlockable perks tree? Sure. Why do we hide that? Okay. Nice. Okay, we're getting closer. Closer and closer. We need to figure out that diamond thing. There's like set icon of something. What's it called? There's a gem thing. I have no idea what this is. Diamond? What is it? I don't even know what the name of the graphic is. To be able to find this. Assets. Icons. Is there a gem in here? Yeah, there it is. Free icons too. Free icons too. There it is. Set cost icon to gem. I searched for gem though. I didn't find that. Huh. I guess I had to capitalize it differently. Oh, it's right there now. Okay, so is anything calling this? Presumably no. Yeah, nothing is. And that's in skill button base. I want this to be in here. So I want to take this and call that. And now instead of gold, it should show a gem, which is moderately helpful, but then we need to have the costs reflect what the tree should actually have them cost. Oh, that's terrible. This is supposed to be the cost buttons icon. Actually, that makes me wonder if we should have plus and minus icons. All right, so now it says G at the end. I don't like that either. Where is that happening from though? Oh, it's hard coded into the button itself. Yeah. All right. So we haven't gotten this functional. If I go into story mode and continue, what do these look like? They show gold on them. Let's ignore that for now. Do the points work? They look like it. Yeah, looks like everything's working. So we just need to get rid of the gold labels from there. Whoops. And then hide them when you haven't unlocked them. So they probably need to, yeah, I guess we need to do this now. Make a skill button for adventurers. Okay, well, I mean, it should be pretty easy, right? Instantiate in its base skill button. Call this something like adventurer skill button. And then save this and then give it a different script. And then give it that script over here too. Did that work? No. There we go. And then we have this code that we need in here, an update label. So override update label. And then put this stuff. Delete these. Now we got to instantiate these things. Where'd that go? Okay, we don't need any of this. And what about the cost thing? The cost thing should always be hidden. Cost button not visible. Cost button not hide. Okay, next up in Adventurer panel tab, we have a skill tree in here. Skill table, I guess. And this makes skill button bases. There should be an add child here. Here it is. Yeah, so just make a different one of those. I think that's it. So now there shouldn't be gold showing on this. Nice. Now I have everyone unlocked by default, but if I did not have them, if I start a new game, we should see, no, that's not working. Maybe nothing's causing them to get updated correctly. Yeah, these should be faded out. And they aren't. But the plus and minus buttons are showing correctly, so something else is going wrong there. Let's save this. What is happening there? We know to disable the plus button, but we don't know to stop the icon. That's what this is supposed to do. The modulate of the whole thing. Although now I guess we could use the saturate thing. Oh, update label probably isn't being called in the right spot. Is there an error? No. Right? Yes, there is. How does this keep happening? Skill button. Something inheriting from that? No. Did I launch from over here? I don't know what I did. I'm just going to restart this. And if we see this happen, then yeah, we know there's a problem. So load this. Yeah, there is a problem. That's confusing because nothing should be trying to use this anywhere. Scene script / skill button.cs. Yeah, literally the only place is here in skill button.tscn, and nothing uses this. Yeah, not a single thing in the code. Huh. Maybe I need to launch from here and it didn't save something. I can't imagine what would have gone wrong. No, it's still happening. The loading screen. Oh. Is it because we just tried loading every single scene that exists and that there's no stopping this otherwise? Okay, so I got to delete this. Yeah, this has no reason to exist anyway. So show in file system and delete. And then I guess get rid of its script if I haven't already. No, I have gotten rid of it already. Okay, so now we close out of all of this stuff. Don't save. And then reload over here. Hey, Apta. Old boss at AWS, now at Anthropic, reached out to me, see if I'm interested in joining his new team. He's starting up, requires me to move to DC, but think it's worth it to get into AI. Really don't want to move though. Man, so how blunt do you want me to be? Be very blunt. Okay. So I've never talked to you in real life. I've never talked to you on a Discord call or anything. So I know only what you've said in chat messages. But I think you are like a magnet to golden handcuffs. And I think you should consider how much is that steering your decision here versus something like AI or your old boss, or, I mean, it's not the location, obviously, so it's probably one of those two things. Now, I don't think this is a problem. People can want money, that's okay. But given what you said about Salesforce in the last like entire year, I think from my point of view, you're probably better served trying your own startup that you were thinking about. Also, hey, Sarah, I think you were chatting earlier and I just didn't say anything. Hey, Ryan. But again, this is from only what I see in chat, right? You talk about crop tops, you talk about Costco, you talk about calzones, and you talk about Salesforce and golden handcuffs. So like this is my viewer persona I have of you, and this topic has like drastically overshadowed all the other ones. Might be a nice change of pace. It might be, but I think you might also find it is a big company, and at that point you'll have moved, you'll have like kind of put your boss's reputation on the line a little bit, but you won't know until you try it. What's behind that? What are we doing, like viewer dumps on everybody right now? I think you know what yours is. Yeah, the pay is stupid high. Yeah, so okay, this kind of confirms my hunch that you are a magnet for golden handcuffs. I think based on all the conclusions you've come to with Salesforce that this would be a bad move. But again, this is based on me having just read your chat messages. That's it. The tallest, most handsome chatter. Yep. The most oatmealinest chatter. I think there are so many forces at play. You wouldn't go for the right price. So the right price, I think if someone were to pay me like $1 billion for 10 minutes of work, it almost doesn't matter what that work is. I'd probably do it, right? Like that's the kind of, you're set for life. Every single person you ever meet is set for life. But that's not realistic, right? So let's say they're paying you $1 million per year. Like, no, I don't think I would do that at this point. I want to pursue my own things with the time and energy that I have now. And you might say, okay, well, I'll work for like a year or two, but it's kind of hard to stop. And that's what golden handcuffs are. Like, at what point are you just like, okay, well, I made $5 million. It's appreciated to $7 million, but just another couple of years, I'll keep going. And then what happens if someone is like, oh, now it's $2 million a year to get promoted or something? It's like, where does this end? At what point are you steering your own life? Now, I'm not saying this isn't life-changing money for people. I just, again, I'm talking to Hepta specifically in Hepta's scenario, and I don't think Hepta needs the money. And again, I'm making a lot of assumptions. I'm being as blunt as Hepta asked me to be. So that's it. Cards on the table sort of thing. Most oatmeal consumed in Habs chat 2025. Could be. Someone's got to be. Someone's got to have that. Yeah. The $1 million a year is a lot of paper money as well. Yeah, but what matters to you? Like, here's what I think this all boils down to is what made you decide to leave Salesforce this April, or this coming April, I guess. Whatever the answer to this question is pretty much the answer to why I think this is a bad idea. I think you can say, oh, it's AI or it's my old boss or here's some other variable that's different. But in the end, I think it comes down to it's a whole bunch of dollar signs, and yet you have a whole bunch of dollar signs right now. Is adding another $2 signs what's going to make you stay? Probably not. So just think, if instead of Anthropic, it were Salesforce and they just said, we're giving you a gigantic raise, would you stay? Well, you need a couple of years at greater than $1 million comp to do your thing. Yeah. And again, if this were like generic advice I were giving, it would be completely different. I think the general advice is if you can get $1 million a year doing something that, yeah, you should probably like work for, I don't know, at least 3 to 5 years and then figure things out. You'll be in a very different position at that point. Sorry, $1 is what I wrote. I meant $1 million. If you make $1 a year, you probably shouldn't be working at all. Yeah, that would be my general advice. But yeah, this is very specific advice. All right, so did we fix this issue? I think I accidentally ran some weird thing. I don't know what's going on right now. Yeah, it's this. So if we continue this, is this working? This is still broken. I don't know what's going on. Is this even being hit? It is, but it says we've unlocked it no matter what. But we haven't. This is some debug thing going on. I guess by me putting a point into it, it's going to think that we unlocked it. I need to do something else. Yeah, I need to do something else. I need to figure out what this used to be. I think it was skill button. That. Hide buttons, ready. Didn't do anything there. Update label was there though. And we disable the remove button if the ability level 0 and hide this if it is not unlocked. And this gets called from here. Update label. Init, yeah. So then that's what's failing. So I got to put a breakpoint here and then restart everything. $1 here. That's like triple what I make. Does Anthropic count as a startup? I'll say this, Hepta. I think at this point you kind of have my input. I think it's your decision in the end. I don't think you should lean too much on what I say, but I don't think I can provide anything more. All right, so I don't care about the first one of these, but I care about the second one. So we got to figure out what the ability ID is for this. How do we even do that? Oh, there it is. Fireball Inspiration. Okay, so this should not be unlocked. So let's do that. Yeah, it's false. What? 6, 7, 8. Okay, now what are we on? That's empowered spellcasting. Okay, I miscounted. Yeah, now that's strange. The buttons should all be hidden and they're not. I saw it. It said it was false. So not false is true. So hide button should be set to true. And then it calls into this. And it sets the visibility of these things. So remove an ad should be hidden. Unless something's changing this later. What is this doing here? What is this doing here? In challenge mode. Oh, whoops. I see. Yeah, that's fine. That's not actually a mistake. So then this is going to be... Oh, I see. Only if this is set to true do we set this here. Otherwise, we're going to show the buttons again. Oh, man, that's kind of crazy. Okay. How is this not a bug already, I wonder? Yeah, I don't know how that wasn't already a bug. How do you decide what to tackle in a day without being too ambitious? So I think that, let's say you over plan or overestimate what you can do. All it's going to lead to is a couple things. One, your to-do list needs to be managed. And two, your expectations may not match reality. And then this itself can lead to some amount of disappointment or guilt or some negative emotion. So I would say it's not too bad. Like, I wouldn't worry about it too much, because in the end, it's just like you'll calibrate the next time. But in general, I think it's pick 1 to 2 things that you would feel make the day a success. And then just have those things. So for me, it's kind of weird because I have like a 9-day task ahead of me. So my one thing for a success is basically just like make the to-do list shrink. That's my high level task for the day. And then you see me list some other things here that are like there every day, like the journal, for example. Send Kevin cat pictures, for example. Oh, wait. Oh, these are things you're communicating to somebody else? Then, yeah, I would say underestimate. And I would say, yeah, pick those 1 to 2 things that you need to consider the day a success. I was let go from my 18-year-old job, 18-year job. Got lucky, and the old coworker was running a welding company, had me do estimation calculations for customers. Had another coworker reach out about a remote software job. I like hearing stories like this, because if you only heard the start and the story were still playing out and it just ended here, I was just let go from my 18-year job, you'd be like, oh man, that sucks. Like, what happened? What's your plan? I've found more often than not that this ends up being a good thing. And it sounds weird to say that because it sounds like it should be a bad thing. But usually people take that time to reevaluate what they what matters to them in their lives. They get better opportunities. It's, yeah. So I'm glad things ended up working. Did I fix this? Please tell me I fixed this. 2 years new job. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so now we're hiding the buttons, but you can still click this. No, you can't click this. But we want to fade this out as well. Why isn't it fading? Oh, because of how saturation works, maybe? Oh, man. Is that what's going on? Because if so, it's not great. All right, let me try this. So if you've unlocked the skill, then we set this to 1. Otherwise, we set it to 0.7. This is saturation, though. That's not modulate. I think these two things should play nice with each other. Something else is happening here. No, this is wrong. Interesting. Interesting indeed. It's like the modulate isn't taking. But why? Something else changing this? How would we find out? We'd go look in here. Icon modulate. That's it. Set icon color. Where's that even happening? Nowhere? Okay. Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know why this isn't having an effect. Let's just print out the color. Ability ID. And modulate. Actually, yeah, this is all kind of fine. Let's do that. Where'd you get the assets from? Take a look at the credits for that. And hey, IPO. Continue. Let's see. Okay, so what is it printing out? Yeah, the modulate for all these is set correctly. It just doesn't look like it's modulated. Why? I'm changing this thing's modulate. Oh, weird. Yeah, it isn't changing the color of the icon. Is it because of the shader? It might be. Wait, I don't even have a shader on this. I have a shader on this. So what if I turn this off and then modulate this to red? Oh my God, that's what's happening? Ugh. How do we fix this? Man, I guess we modulate through the shader. What is this even doing that can't work? It gets the color, it gets the texture. Oh, and then it just ignores the modulate because it's going to override it here no matter what. So we can just lower the lightness of this then. It's a uniform. Yeah. Yeah. Try and stop me. Okay, so just don't save this. Very important that I don't save that. Good. Do we still have our shader on here? Yeah. Okay, and then I change this. I say like set icon color or set icon lightness or something. I don't know what the numbers should be. No, let's just ignore the numbers. And then these are floating points that go into here, which are going to need to look like this. So now we copied that and then put that into skill button base. We're getting there. Public or protected, void. Hey, nice. I knew exactly what I wanted. Good job, AI. This might be super dark. I have no idea. It's 0.4, which I assume is super dark. It's not working at all. That's strange. Set lightness if you've unlocked it or if you haven't unlocked it. Yeah, that's strange. I don't know what I'm doing wrong then. It was 0.4 by default. Oh, so maybe 1 would be too bright, but this doesn't look too bright. What does changing the saturation or the lightness do? It does literally nothing? Is it because I have to like, oh, I see. So if saturation is maximum, then lightness doesn't do anything. So I want to lower the saturation and the lightness so that it darkens like that. Huh. Yeah, okay, my bad. Okay, so maybe we just call this like set icon, darken icon, cool, polo, darken. Yeah, something like this. And we set both the lightness to be 0.4 and the saturation to be 0.5. Oh, something like that. This is probably going to be kind of stupid. So if you haven't unlocked the skill, then we darken this thing. And I don't care about that. I just cannot get this right, can I? Why did I lighten everything up? Oh, they all use the same shader. Oh my God, that's the other problem. Oh no. Oh, it's a good thing I even realized that was the case. Otherwise, I would have gone looking through the code for a while. I just forgot. Yeah, nice. This is sort of what they're supposed to look like. I want them to look darker than this, although this is just tweaking values at this point. So we just need to figure out what makes them look darker. Is it, so 0.5 is pretty good, and then lower the lightness down to, yeah, like 0.1. That's probably decent. 0.1. Okay, we are getting there. We are getting there. We can also potentially do that thing where when you hover over these, they could lighten the icon and make it clear that you can just click these. Because right now it doesn't do that. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Something weird happened there. I leveled up once and I unlocked 2 skills at once? Why is that happening? What? Is that because I'm cheating? Maybe because I'm cheating. What happens if we cheat in a different way? Yeah, why is it giving me 2 different skills at once? What? I don't know. I don't know. Is there a level up thing here? It's a tool to find character level. Level up button, level up button. When you click this, what happens? Calls into this. Level up adventurer and update selected adventurer. I think this is what's responsible for setting up the skill table. Where do we do that? Innate abilities. Initialize this again. Go through each skill, just initialize them. Update label is based on this, whether or not you've updated or you've unlocked the skill. So it considers you to have unlocked it, and unlocking it is seeing if your level of it is 0. Get abilities on null. Where do we call this then? That's debug unlock all skills. The only other place we call it is in stat computations. Unlock next ability and unlock all abilities. All right, unlock next. How does that work? So we get all of the skills you have not unlocked, and then we just pick the first one and unlock it. So why is it unlocking 2? I'll put a breakpoint here and we'll find out. So there's the first one. And here's the second one. Number of abilities to unlock is 2. Why? Oh, what? Oh. I see what's happening here. I cheated before I saved the game. Oh my God. I'm like, I'm not cheating in this run, but I cheated before I even made the save file. So this is working as intended. Oh, that's confusing. Yeah, I debug granted myself a point, which unlocks the next skill, I think. Something happened. I don't know what. Anyway, if we just make a new game, it should be fine. So now when I cheat my level upward by 1, we get 2 skills, and then we get 1 skill, and then 1 skill, and so on and so forth. All right, this all looks like it's working fine. Yeah, I'll write other little things I can fix if I'm fixing this already. Other stuff I can fix is like make it so that hovering over any button will show the tooltip rather than hovering over individual buttons. It's like Sam said with the parent div thing. And then make it so that hovering over the icon makes it clear that it's clickable. All right. Whew. Okay, so we've done 3 of them now. It's kind of, sort of. Let's go look at some of the other ones. This is strange. What's that large text there for? Oh, that's a cost. Oh, and it doesn't know. Okay, interesting. I know what's going on there. Purchase skill button is updating the label incorrectly. Main skill button text. This is going to be the cost button text. And that should be that. All right, take care, Pressel. Have a good night. Sleep well. On a vaguely related note, my wife had been saying that her back was hurting sleeping on our mattress. And I don't remember the last time we rotated it, but we rotated again yesterday, and she said, "Oh yeah, it feels better now." And I wonder how you tell when your mattress is at the end of its life. Like we've had it for a bunch of years now. And I looked it up, like how long our mattress is supposed to last, and it's like, I don't know, 6 to 8 years, depending on the kind of mattress. I don't know if that's low or that's right. But what the conclusion I came to is if rotating it doesn't fix things, that's the day we go get a new mattress. Happy 4:04 p.m. Thank you. I was worried you were an imposter. What happened to my garbage slime? Give me the garbage slime. Okay, this is still broken because of how update label works. Main skill button.txt. That's probably wrong. Max 10 years. Taylor, you should rotate them. If you don't have any problems, actually, I don't know. You don't have any problems. Maybe you're just not attributing them to your mattress. One of the same thing with pillows. Yeah, I actually never really thought about pillows. But yeah, I guess even pillows you probably need to get rid of at some point. Huh. Yeah, huh. Things to think about as you're falling asleep tonight. Am I comfortable? All right, so this is what we wanted things to look like, and they don't look like this. Yeah, there's a minus button. There's no level. It should show like this. And yeah, I've messed all of this up. I learned so much more than game dev here. Okay, so we got to fix everything. The remove points button shouldn't even be here. Main skill button text shouldn't be here. Is it max level? Add points disabled. That's bad. I guess we just hide it. Yeah, I guess we shouldn't call the base at all here. All right, so what are we looking at? Get max level label. This is what is going to show up under the main button dot text. And then excuse me, sorry. Then we hide the main button at some point? Why do we do that? We don't ever do this. Did something used to do this? See a pretzel. Unlockable perks did. Okay, so then this is pointless. Oh, I'm glad we're getting rid of some of this pointless code though. Reset to 0 is probably also pointless. Yep. Although maybe we should be doing that. Refund as though you never had it. Okay, I don't know about refunding points. I need to get that to work. Get refunding points, upgrade points to work. Get upgrades. Upgrade perk button to work with everything. Adding points, refunding all skills, and removing points. All right, so this is done. This is done. This and this not done yet. Where do we leave off with this? I gotta hide the remove points button. So we need a ready function here. Ready, base.ready, and then remove points button dot hide. You're all set, Nat? Hope we can make your to-do list shorter. Thank you. Yeah, I think just to give you a quick rundown so that you don't have to wait till tomorrow to hear. But currently we've increased it by about 20% today, I think. And we wanted to decrease it ideally by at least like 10%. But that's okay. Once tomorrow rolls around, I'm hoping we get all this stuff done, and then that'll get rid of, well, the 20% we added pretty much. How much is this? Yeah, we'll get rid of more than that. Yeah, Andre, how you doing? Okay, so what are we doing? We're going back to here, yeah, and looking at this. This is still wrong, and I'm not totally sure why that's showing there. It's modifying the cost incorrectly, so we got to figure out where the cost is going. Where is that going? Add points button. There it is. It's supposed to be the cost button. Obviously, we're modifying the cost. It goes in the cost button. Oh man, I'm happy I'm redoing this. I think it's going to make for better code. It's just taking a long time, and it's not even done yet. And we're probably running out of time for today. Yeah, it's later than I want it to be. So now there's a plus button here. I guess we just hide the plus button too. Add points button dot hide. Okay. And now I think it's going to look like what it used to look like, and it should function the way it used to, I hope. But we're about to find out. There's a weird space there. I don't know what did that. Yeah. You can see in here, there's not that weird space. There's some like vertical spacing going on. I can probably fix that over here. Yeah, maybe don't have the same separation that we would have. I don't know, let's just set it to -5 for now. But ignoring that weird spacing, this is gray as you might expect, but the icon isn't gray. Isn't it supposed to be? Update icon saturation. No, that's not how that works. I can't even click the icon. That doesn't work. Okay, that looks good. I want to darken the ones you can't afford. And I want to darken the icons of the ones you can't afford. And then some other problem was there. What was it? Oh yeah, you can't click the icon. Yeah, we got to do that. Crazy day over here. Found out the client's not renewing the contract, so my freelance stuff is probably on the street. Yeah. I hope they do renew, but we were actually just talking about this, like what, 7 minutes ago or something, where someone was saying it was Strawn who was saying that I'll just copy paste the message. Let go from 18-year job. This was 2 years ago, and then their life kind of turned around and things are going a lot better now. And I said, man, if the message were just this, It doesn't sound like really good news, but it usually leads to something good. So I hope it's the same with you, Andre, that it leads to something better. Or just that it doesn't fall apart in the first place. That'd be nice. All right, so I know what's going on. I know why it's happening. It's because of this. We only allow the add button to work if the add button is visible. But in this case, we want to allow it to work even if it's invisible. So I think we should just base it on whether the add button is disabled or not check visibility. And then we just need to make sure to disable the add button here. Disabled equals true. Button may have been hidden in challenge mode. I don't even think that's true anymore. I think we just have different button types now, and I think that comment is pointless. And I think that means we can set this. But still, let's try it. Nice. Okay, so we can click this now. But I want it to look a little bit darker when you can't afford it. Were we ever doing that? I can picture the code, but I don't know where. It would have been in here, maybe? Do we ever set the modulate on this? Yes, we do. Okay, so then that's what we got to do here too. And it's probably attempting to do that. It is. All right, so set or like darken icon. If you can't afford it and you're not at the max level. Yeah. Oh, this is gonna break. Yeah, this is gonna break. Glad I read that line of code. Let me try this just to see how it'll break. But yeah, now these things should be darkened correctly. Nice. Clicking it doesn't do anything. Okay, it's darkening maybe a little too much. Maybe I should have it lighten it just a hair. If I do that, this didn't change the saturation either. But now if I click this, no, it needs to do a lot more. Yeah, something's breaking with that. Where's that max level? You still have time to focus on personal projects, I guess. Yeah, I think right now the future is uncertain, and I think there's any number of ways it can go. But like I said, I think usually people end up kind of working toward a better situation than they even had before. Maybe with freelance, it's not exactly the same because I guess you probably are used to having to find new clients. But yeah, wishing you the best. All right, so if you're at the max level, we disable this. I can't then do this at the same time. Is that max level work? Okay, I see. Disabled if you can't afford it or it's at the max level. Okay, so that looks good. Once you do hit the max level, we want to hide the cost button too. And then for whatever reason, the saturation isn't changing. Possibly because the lightness was wrong. Maybe it's that. I need more money. No, I don't think it's that. I don't know what's going on with that. Let's just save and load and see what happens. Okay, that's incredibly bright. It's not what I want, but I wonder how that happened. I'm like a freelance at a company that does projects to the clients, probably better context. I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay, so I have messed this up. I guess we got to figure out how to make this look like how it used to. And I think I know the answer for that. We set the lightness to 1 and we set the saturation down to 0. No, not 1, 7.7, I mean. No, even that looks bad. What was it supposed to be? The saturation used to be set to nothing. Right? Yeah, it's whatever a float defaulted to, which I'm guessing is 0. Unless something else set it. I search for saturation. I should probably search through here. Saturation. No, it was either 0.7 or 1. Oh, no, it was set. Well, that was set to 0.7. Yeah, otherwise, purchase skill button was set to 1. So all we do is change the lightness. So this would be 1. This would be 0.7. Doesn't look any different. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? The lightness is 0.4 by default? I mean, the lightness doesn't have any impact if the saturation is 1. What is this shader doing? Have I deleted something? No, I just changed the spacing and stuff. And I defaulted this. Dot product of RGB and the lightness. And then mix it according to saturation. I don't understand how that's possible if this is doing nothing then. Because the saturation is gonna always, oh, it's gonna always mix it toward the RGB. I see. Okay, I do understand then. But then how did it ever look different before this? Or did that break at some point? I guess if we load the playtest version, I could just cheat my way to getting this perk. It should be very fast. Yeah, I don't care. Skip this. Increase game speed. Just blaze through all this stuff. All right, so we just repeat enough battles. There, that should do it. Now we should be able to get the, oh no, you can't do it until you get that. Okay, now we should be able to get the garbage slime. Nice. And now we can see this. So I need to make enough money. I don't need to make money. I can just grant myself money. Yeah, it lightens slightly differently. So this is what this used to look like. Oh, and if you couldn't afford something, I can't make it so I can't afford something, can I? Maybe I could. Toggle invincibility, go up to here. I would need to spend a lot of money. I mean, I guess we can get the warehouse and start spending some money. This isn't going to go through any of it. Yeah, I spent all the money I have, and that was only like 6,000. And this stuff isn't going to cost a whole lot. I just want to get to the point where I can't afford a certain perk. I should also take a picture of this before I forget. Well, I think I already did. That's the saturation we're looking for. No, this isn't going to cost enough, is it? Oh, that's too bad. I guess we can just say show all signs and then just buy this stuff anyway. We have 80,000 left. Yeah, this won't work. Oh, we can buy this stuff though. Oh, this actually will work then because these things cost a ton. Well. No, it won't. Okay, fine, I give up. I don't care. Well, we can still use this to figure out why this is broken. The saturation had to change. It had to. I'll search for this. Purchased skill button.cs. As 0.7. Oh, am I changing the wrong value? Oh my God, I'm a dummy. Okay, fine. I think I was changing the wrong value. This should be 0.7. Yeah. Oh, it's not the lightness, it's the saturation. So wait, what did I mess up then? did I mess up? I'm setting the lightness too high. Yeah, and what should it be? Should be 0.4. Okay, lightness. If you're max level, then it's at 0.4. Otherwise, it's at 1. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. So it should just always be at 0.4. Yeah. And that means that we can just override this in the scene itself. Well. We finally got somewhere. All right, so we go to the icon and we set this to, what already is 0.4? Oh, when it gets disabled, it gets set to something different. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I don't know what's going wrong. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. We just need to fully buy one of these things and then save. Yeah, so this is what's broken. I think the lightness is just wrong about this. And this changes anytime we call update label. So at the max level, then we do that. Otherwise, we set it to 1. I feel like this shouldn't matter. This might give us parity with what we used to have. Nice. Yeah, it's like barely different looking, but it's different enough and it doesn't have the button. No, it changes colors when you do that because it calls update label again. I see. Okay, so we have two different things that are trying to compute this and we need to make it idempotent. Well, that's too bad. Take care, Dad Walking. Thank you again for the sub. Why is that a private void? The update saturation? It's private because nothing outside of this class needs to call it, and it's void because it doesn't return anything. But yeah, one of the problems is every time your money changes, we call darken icon. And we can't do this. I think I'm just going to need to leave this for next time because I probably got to get going now. Okay, so where I left off, regular perks, like in story mode for the garbage slime, don't lighten / darken correctly. We used to be able to, why were we able to use modulate for this? When your money changes, we modify the perks or the shader parameters. But we do that whenever the label changes too. Money changing can override the label changing. Makes it sound like it doesn't do anything. No, it does something. It's going to run these lines of code. It just won't return anything. So like I said, private is what's going to make it so that only this class can call it. So we call it from up here. And then void just means it's not going to return anything. Most functions are going to be void probably in people's code bases. And then, actually, that's not probably true. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I think having a private void function doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't sound like it does anything. I need to go. So let's dutifully keep track of what this is here. So 17867. But I'll write more like, what should it be? It should be all of this stuff gone. 3005. If you don't count the task I ended on, which had ballooned like crazy. Spent half the day improving bone mode and the other half refactoring skill buttons. Yeah. Okay. I am going to, I think, sign out. Yeah, normally I'd want to raid someone, but the cat is meowing. I really want to see if she's okay. Yeah, I'll be back online tomorrow. I'm nearly positive, like 99% sure. I think it's going to be a half day tomorrow, so just the morning, which is usually what it is, but I still want to advertise that fact. So thank you all for watching. Thanks for being here. If you want to join Discord, there's the link. If any part of Skeleseller looked interesting, you can try the demo there. And I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good night.